Secrets, and I'm Ethan Van Sciver, comic artist for 25 years. And this is Brutally Honest Portfolio Reviews number 14, and it comes to us from a fellow named Darius. He sent me a nice email. Here it is. He says, I'm 37, and I've been down a lot, like living a life of pure discouragement. That's one reason why I never finished this story, because for some stupid reason, I decided to look up what Jim Lee was doing, and that was it. I closed up shop. To add to that, I was getting into it with a ton of people from DeviantArt who were bashing my work, who couldn't even draw anywhere near as well as I could. So I stopped drawing, and then picked it up again a few years later. I've been working at TSA for 15 years now. Thanks for keeping us safe. And for not grabbing my groin. And after 6 failed promotion attempts, enough was enough. So this year I told myself that I was going to make things happen, and now I've set upon my quest to complete a project and to get it out there somehow. Then I came across your YouTube channel, and I was like, I've always loved his style. That should be another exclamation point, not a question mark. Assert that, don't ask that. I had no idea you had a channel here, but I'm glad I found it. You have awakened skills in me I didn't know I had, and now I'm confident enough to take new steps and move forward in my life. I don't want to retire at TSA. Thank you, Unc Ethan. From Darius. All right, good. Let's have a look, Darius. And here we go. We have the first page of Darius's project here. We've got a kind of a king, and he's ordering his men into battle. Okay. All right, Darius, I'm going to say this to you first and foremost. I want you to focus on your pencils for now. I don't want you to ink yourself. I don't think you are utilizing your inks well, and I think that somebody else could go ahead and ink this better than you. That's the first thing that jumped out at me, and I'll tell you why. I'm looking at the way you break up the line around the outline of your figure here, and that's fine. The problem is that nobody explained to you that you need to alter and vary your line weights with the lights and the shadows. For example, if the light is hitting him this way, and it is because we see shadow down here, so you have the light source being kind of right here. This line around the top of him, where the light would hit, is going to be a little bit thinner. It's going to be kind of a thin line, but even within that, you're going to want to vary your line weights according to where the light is. So if the light is here, you know the light is going to hit right here, but it's going to miss right over here. So thicker line right here. Thin line, thicker line. Thin line, thicker line. Thin line. Okay, do you understand? And then thin line, thick line. Thick, 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 thick. This is where the shadow is. Now you're doing your inking with one consistent steady line all around, and that is not helping you. Is it hurting you? Yeah, kinda. I mean, it's not. The thing about it is that every line that you put down should have a purpose to sort of add weight, light, shadow, form to your drawing. These lines are not arbitrary. They're not meant just to kind of delineate where the figure is. You have opportunity in the lines that you use, whether you use a million lines or just a few lines. You have to use them wisely to let people know where the light source is, and to give, like I said, form and shape to your drawings. Now, on top of that, I would tell you this. On top of the fact that you're using kind of the same line weight, it's interesting that you use a thicker line here. I think that's just because you see a shadow in here, but ironically, this line would be thin. And so would this one be, and this one right here would be thicker. Yeah, it's a lot like calligraphy. I mean, when you learn how to do calligraphy and which lines of each letter is thick and which are thin, thicks and thins. That's what inking is all about. And I see that you haven't grasped that at all. I mean, all of these lines are the same all around. I'm looking at the design in his hat. His hat itself is all, oops, covering the camera, is all one line weight. Okay. All right. So, you know what? I'm going to proceed as though I'm not going to tell you not to ink. Darius, I don't believe in that. I'm not going to do that. People do that all the time, and people say, why don't you focus on? And I've heard so many portfolio reviewers say that to artists, and it's just, I was going to curse. It's just nonsense, okay? It is. It's stupid. Anyone can learn how to ink, and you're going to learn how to ink. That's what I expect of you. Okay, Darius, so on top of that, I hope you do understand the concept of line weights. On top of that, I do want you to work on the textures that you're putting down. All right, so we know about line weights. Now, the other thing that inks do is inks distinguish textures one from another. So we have his beard, we have the drapery, the cloth of his clothing that he's wearing. We have his throne. I assume this is some kind of wood with some kind of cloth over it. We've got his helmet. Maybe this is hard metal, and then this is fur, and this is I don't know what this is. And the reason why I don't know what it is because there's nothing to tell me what it is. Basically, what you've done by just using the same kind of shadowy lines here is you've made everything look the same. So if everything is made of cardboard or wood or flesh or cloth, it all looks the same. So what we have to do is we have to learn how to use our pen to distinguish different surfaces and different textures one from another. All right, so let's see here. Maybe it's time for your Uncle Ethan to start breaking out a pen and drawing with you. So I hope you don't mind, Darius, but I've gone ahead and I've penciled roughly your figure from this panel. I've just done rough pencils. And what I'm going to do from here is I'm going to ink him. As I said, I mean, people talk about how, you should only focus on pencil and inking. It's a garbage attitude. Anyone can learn how to ink. You just need a little instruction. Inking, unlike penciling, is a skill. It's entirely a skill. There is a little bit of talent involved for some people, but it's something that you could really learn. So I'm gonna show you what I mean. I'm gonna talk you through this. I'm gonna do kind of rougher inks maybe, but I just want you to understand textures. So what we have here is we have his skin, and we're gonna want to, I mean, you have already suggested that the light source is coming in this direction. All right, so we know where the shadows are going to be. And you know, I'm gonna go ahead, let me see if I have a nice brush pen here. I've got to. Your Uncle Ethan is always prepared. Yes, I do. Nice. Okay. I'm going to go ahead in this case and I'm going to lay down solid blacks. Let's see here. So I'm going to start on this helmet. This pen isn't good. This isn't new. This isn't a new pen. Where's a new pen? This one. A little better. I don't know. It might be time to buy some new supplies. I have been going through them. For real, Darius. It's terrible. Art supplies are expensive, you know. But you have to do it. Have to do it. It's necessary. You see what I'm doing? I'm just going to go ahead and just at the far reaches here of the drawing, I'm just gonna insert the very darkest shadows. And this will be, this will make things easier. All right, I'm gonna speed this part up. Okay, good enough. Now, Why do this? Why just do blacks when basically what you've done is you've done mostly dark kind of crosshatch? Well, because when you're balancing values the way that you are, you do have two main colors. You've got black and you've got white. You've got shadow and you've got light. So let's determine where the shadow is first. Let's determine where the blacks are. Let's lay them out. Let's put them down so that way we have balance to the drawing. And that's what we have right now. Heck, you could run the drawing like this if you wanted to. It'd be very Frank Miller of you, but you could do it. So we have black, we have white where the light is, and then we can make all manner of gray tones. Now the gray tones are where the fun comes in, because the gray tone is all about texture. So let's do the face, and let's establish what kind of textures we're going to use on his face here. He's got big bushy eyebrows. I love that. It's cool. Most of my villains, I give them big bushy eyebrows like this. All right. He's got a nice eye in here. And another eyebrow. Now remember, again, light source is coming from here. So the light is hitting this side of his face, and we're getting kind of a thinner style line where the light would hit. So on the tip of his nose here. Okay. It doesn't have to be uniform. In fact, it's better if it's not uniform. It's better if the line, hey, let's put a little bit of thickness right on the end of his nose, and then on the underside of his nose, because, well, that's going to be shadowed. So we're going to see how the line is bolder underneath there. We're going to give him a bit of a nostril shadow right back here, thicker line, okay? Thin lines in here to find the wrinkles on his face, which you have elegantly established. I'm trying to copy you as much as possible here. Okay. I'm going to do some pull outs right here on the tip of his nose. And you've got these nice laugh lines. And we've got lots of wrinkles on his forehead. Okay, like so. And then we've got his other eye and his cheek again. You know, soft, easy, light lines. That's where the light is hitting. All right, so you've got shadow coming off of his face. So let's go ahead and we're going to do that. We're going to go ahead and put blacks into the shadows on his face. We're going to find the roundness of his cheek. Let's remember that everything is, when it comes to face, let's remember skulls. Let's remember his cheekbones here being an object a shape which will catch shadow and hold on to it. Okay. And I'm going to X this out right here. That is going to be all black. So let's get pen out instead of a brush, just so we can make sure that we're precise here. All right. Okay, now right above his head on his hat, he's got some kind of furry pom-pom shapes here. All right, so we're gonna slow real way down here, and we're gonna put some detail in, and we're gonna create a new texture. And the texture that we're gonna create for this furry hat will kind of go like this, okay? Broken up lines, like so, that will create the illusion. Can you see that? I don't know if I should, let's see, get closer. Yeah, all right, so we're going to break up lines, like so. We're going to kind of thick on the bottom. They don't need to look clean because they are fur. So, all right. So we're going to do that kind of a texture around the cotton balls on his hat. And remember also, darker back here on this side. That's where the light isn't hitting. So we're going to go ahead and do that. And later in the front, dark, 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 where the light doesn't hit. Okay. Dark, dark, dark. All right. And look, we've already got these black shadows set up, so we're going to work around those. And we're going to add to them. We're going to add our kind of texture and pull it out of the black, like so. And right here, where it's almost completely black, we're going to go ahead and just fuzz that in, okay, like that. Now these on top of his head, these look like lady fingers. I'm not sure what they are, but I'm going to assume that they're metallic. And I'm going to go ahead and on this edge, I'm going to go dark, like heavy line. Okay. Not here so much because it loops around. We got to remember 3 dimensions here. See how this kind of covers this edge? All right, so on this side, I'm going to go ahead and go lighter. Light. Light, as light as you can. Light, light, light. Okay, like so. We know that this hat is definitely, almost certainly made of gold or some metal. So we're going to make sure the line here is clean. This line has to be as clean as possible. In fact, using a French curve or a circle template or something like that would not be out of line here because we want to suggest hard, rigid, okay, kind of shape here that's immovable. It's not going to be bent. It's not flesh. It's not cloth. It needs to be hard. All right, so let's do some just solid. Let's go from black to white here with some strong, uniform pull-outs that are following the direction of the light. You see how these are going in this way? We've determined where the light source is coming. We're following that as much as possible. And we're following it here too. All right. All right, so now we've got his furry mustache and beard. These are long hairs. We're gonna go in with thin lines, but we're gonna go a little bit thicker again, away from our light source. All right. So down underneath. Thick. This is not unlike the texture that we used for the cotton, the pom-pom, the fur balls, whatever they are, around his hat. Roughly the same kind of texture where you go from thick and you pull out into thin, you go kind of random. Okay. We've got his teeth in here. Yeah, I like the way you did his mouth. black. Keep it black on the inside of his mouth. Thin on the top of his lip, you notice, hitting the light. Okay. More fur. And we'll just keep working on this beard. I think I'm going to speed up the beard part. Okay. I'm going to assume that this is also metallic. I didn't look at it very closely, but this seems like it's going to be kind of armor here. So I'm going to do the same kind of thing that I did for his hat. And we're going to just do pull-outs in the same direction, okay? These are pull-outs. Now, you can make pull-outs into cross-hatching if you want. The difference between a pull-out and cross-hatching is that there's a second set of lines going in a different direction over the pull-outs. Then they become cross-hatching. They're literally crossing. That's where the name cross-hatching comes from. So, we've got lines going this way, and it's giving it the same feeling as the hat, as you can see. So now this and this look the same. This and this don't look anything like this. They don't look anything like this, do they? Or they don't even look like the front of his hat here. They don't look like his flesh. We've established 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 textures. 5 distinct textures. All right. So we could cross these. You've crossed them in yours. I'm not going to. I'm going to save my cross hatching for his cloak. Okay, so I'm going to reserve this as my texture for kind of hard metal, and then I'm going to use my cross hatching for his cloth. Okay, so let's do pull outs here. I think I'll speed this up as well. All right. Okay, so we've got our first layer of pull-outs coming off of this arm, the cloth on this arm. Now, as you can see, I've done something a little bit Travis Charest-y here. Travis Charest is a great artist who used to work for Wildstorm. So he would do pull-outs like this, and then he would sort of break them and trail them off every now and then. And it's a really nice effect. I think you should try it. It's just another bit of texture that you can add to your collection of, your portfolio of textures. Now, I'm going to take these wrinkles here and I'm going to clean them up, and I'm going to add to them with other lines. I'm going to take this little spot right here and I'm going to do pull-outs on it. Now this area should be very, very dark, so I'm going to do a layer of pull-outs over it, like so. Yeah. And we will follow some pull-outs around his abdomen area here. Now, I'm letting these pull-outs kind of break up a little bit, like that. Okay. Keeping them kind of gloppy. See how there's like, they're not clean. There's actual substance in there. It makes it look a little bit more like cloth, a little bit more kind of texture. All right, so let's do cross-hatching now. If you're going to do cross-hatching, you're going to have to decide how many layers of cross-hatching you're going to do. Are you just going to do cross-hatching once? Are you going to do cross-hatching 3 times? And then you're going to want to ask yourself, what kind of cross-hatching is it going to be? Now, there are several kinds. I mean, you can do, let's say, here's our first layer of pull-outs. If you're going to do something on flesh, which I don't always recommend, but you can go ahead and do cross-hatching on flesh, certainly. I would do the next layer at a 45-degree angle. Okay? Like so. That's 45-degree angle of cross-hatching. Now, you can do another layer after that, and you can do it at a 90-degree angle from the first. set of lines. The key to it, though, is to let it become a fade. So you've got one layer of lines like so that are going one way, and they're reaching out to whiteness here. Let's say this is black right here. They're reaching out to whiteness and becoming gray. They're fading out. So then we're going to do another layer of cross hatching right here, right off of the black into the grays. And we're not going to pull them all the way out. We're just going to keep them a little bit closer in to the black. So now we've got kind of a lighter, an easier fade into white. And then if we're going to do it again and we do the 90-degree angle, we keep it close to the blacks, and we don't cover up entirely the second layer, okay, the 45-degree angle layer. So now we've got an even more gradual, if this is black, more gradual fade into white. And that's the purpose of cross hatching, essentially. Now you can just skip to 90-degree if you want. I mean, this is something that not a lot of people try to do, and I don't recommend it unless you do it exactly the right way. So you've got your first layer, then you can do 90-degree like so, and you get essentially perpendicular cross hatching. That's a very specific texture. I would definitely not do this on flesh. I tend to do it more on things like wood. I would do it on hard substances. If I were going to do cross hatching on metal, like if I were rendering an airplane, I would do this. I wouldn't do this, the 45-degree angle, too much. It's just too soft. I can't really explain it in words. This is harder for some reason. It doesn't look like flesh. It looks like hardness right there. So, same thing, kind of here, more or less. So with fabric, I'm going to do 45-degree angle off of my first batch of pullouts here. And I'm going to kind of do it randomly. I'm going to hit the elbow there, and then I'm going to I'm going to skip this area here, and then I'm going to bring up another set of cross hatching right here, right behind this cuff that he's got, okay? I'm going to go ahead and do another set of 45-degree cross hatching off of this wrinkle, off of this fold in his cloth. I'll do little pullouts here, little miniature ones. And up here as well, let's go ahead and just draw this all out. Stretch it out, look at that. Longer cross hatching up here. Like so, still 45 degrees, and boom, this is now a different texture from this. All right. I don't know what his cuff is going to be. Is it going to be the same? I'm going to say his cuff is kind of white, and for some reason I see it as being kind of satiny. I don't know why, but let's do that, and let's just create a new texture here for fun. Let's just say his cuff is made of satin, so we'll do kind of we'll highlight this. We're going to make this kind of round. And add some kind of shine to it a little bit, okay? And we go back to his hand, which is, of course, flesh. So we're going to find the lines, light, dark underneath this finger, underneath this knuckle. Clean this up. Yeah, always you can go back and just clean up the shapes that you put down with your initial black lines. Okay, so we know that what we're doing for our skin tone is we're just doing detail work. We're going to do light, small pull-outs like we've done here. Let's find kind of the shape of his hand a little bit. Try to keep it in tune with what we've done up here. The same layer of kind of the same amount of, of detail. Yeah, okay. Oh, I just panicked and thought I wasn't filming. All right, very good. looks like he's got some kind of a line here. The opening of his jacket. And I'm going to clean up this arm with a pen. Just make sure these lines down here are clean. And we'll do the same thing for this arm here. Okay, we'll do pull-outs off of the black. In the 90s, when people were really like pressed for time to produce comics and everything was being rushed, you would actually hire someone to just like, you would just X in the black shapes and hire someone to fill them in. And people would say, I'll do anything to help you. I'll fill in blacks. I feel like, wait, I don't need anyone to do that. That's weird. All right, light up here. Light around here. And we'll do some kind of satiny, kind of shiny line work up here real quickly. And a little crosshatch right up here. Right in here. Yeah, we'll bring that to black. And let's just render his little hand. Again, you know, try to have fun with the line weights just around things. You don't want to just be even. I'm constantly changing the pressure that I'm putting down on the tip of my pen. I will let go of it. I'll ease up, and then I'll press down a little bit harder, and just get some variety. It's subtle. It's subtle variety in the line weight, but it really kind of brings it out. You'll see. Thin right in here, and then kind of heavier right under here, real heavy under here, thin, real heavy right under there. It's very, very, very subtle. But there it is. I think the rest of this, but I feel like this would take too much time for one portfolio review. But there you go. So here is your work inked with a variety of different textures. And it really kind of, I think, brings it to life a little bit more, and lets people, I don't know, it makes it more interesting to look at. Okay, all right. And now, as I said before, inking is a skill. It is something that you can learn, but it does require practice. So you're going to have to spend a lot of time doing boring, getting used to your pen, your brush, your crow quill, and just getting used to making lines and it being an easy thing, especially with, if you wanted to do a background like this, which is just lines, going off in one direction together. These need to be far neater. You have to make sure that these are more uniform than this and pointed and mean something. All right, so good. Cut from this to this, a close-up of his eyes, I guess. Yeah, again, you're going to watch your textures here. You tend to have the same kind of inking texture everywhere, like this gray in the background on his face and the same kind of thing. I don't know, and I'm not sure if it's pleasing. We're going to have to work on our figures. I like this attempt here. All right. I've said it before and I'll say it again right now in case this is your first video. I would much rather somebody attempt the right kind of drawing for a panel, the right shot, and get it wrong than just cheat and do a really great job at a panel that doesn't tell the story. This is exactly what you needed to do. You needed to show all of the warriors kneeling before the king. We needed to see his guards lined up. We needed to see how big his palace is and all of this. Now, I think unless this guy's a giant, if these men are all the same size, we need to work on our perspective big time. I will tell you that I have this is 2-point perspective. I have a 2-point perspective class that's already uploaded onto this channel. I do recommend that you go ahead and get that now. At the moment, I mean, the perspective on this is too wonky to even take apart right now. You are going to have to start from the beginning and learn how to do 2-point perspective. Now, this is going to take some time. You're watching my video is going to take you a half an hour. You're going to have to practice. If you have any questions after watching the video, please come to me and ask them, and I will help you. But yeah, the point is, though, that this panel was the right panel for the storytelling, and I'm glad that you tried it. Okay, yeah, cut to the king. This is great right here. He looks good. His people are afraid. Yeah, I like his, I like how you've got the word balloons in there. Inking is just, it's a problem. You are going to need to practice your inking. This is just a mishmash of lines that don't really work at all. I mean, this doesn't look like hair. His face looks like it's made of hair at this point, because these lines here are the same as the lines you used in his hair. This is the kind of thing that I feel like it just needed to be pointed out to you. Same thing here. You see the broken, consistent line all the way around his face. Like, it doesn't do anything. It does absolutely nothing. And the lines inside are the same line weight as the line weight you used around his head, the same line weight that you used around his armor. Even though I'm happy to see these black shapes here that add extra texture to it, this is it's just not working. It's not working. You're going to have to consider a couple things. In general, the lines that you use inside of the outline are going to be thinner all the time. I mean, they're always going to be a smaller line weight than the line that you put around your figure. The line that you put around the figure, it kind of separates him from the air and the background and everything. It announces that this is a structure in and of himself. It's a person. So you do need to make sure that line is a little bit heavier while varying it. So if the light is right here, then this is going to be light, this is going to be dark, this is going to be light, this is going to be dark, light, dark, 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 light. Light around the head, okay? I hope that makes sense. This is the way it was explained to me when I was a teenager. And it made sense to me, so I'll impart it to you that way. Yeah, textures, figure drawing. You're telling the story, though. You're telling the story, my friend. Yeah. Same problems all around. Perspective. Perspective is shot. You're going to need to watch all my perspective videos, all of them. And you're going to have to be patient with yourself, and you're going to have to ask questions if you have them, and you're going to have to practice because you're faking it right now big time. You need to be more patient with your backgrounds. These trees are interesting to look at, but I don't believe them for a minute. And remember, yesterday I said in a video, somebody asked, what does it take to be a good comic book artist? What does it mean to be a good comic book artist? It means selling the illusion. So if you want me to believe these are real trees, you need to make these look like real trees. And you're going to have to use all your skills to do it, including the lessons that I just taught you about line work and texture. You're going to need to do all of that, and perspective. It's all going to come into play with everything that you do. Not sure what's happening here. I don't like these. Let's not do these anymore. I almost want to make an announcement to the comic book world. Let's not do these extreme close-ups of eye and nose, or just extreme close-up of eye. I get asked to do them in my own work on Green Lantern all the time, and I'm just like, I hate it. It's so bad. Good panel here. Nice. Yeah, obviously this arm, even though it's on first glance, it really, really works. It has all kinds of drawing problems to it. This arm, the foreshortening isn't right. But I do, again, you're one of these guys who is doing exactly what I want you to do, which is tell the story first, and we can work out the drawing problems later. That just comes with time and practice. This is actually really nice. Good work here. Yeah, I like this. I like his face here. It's very manga, isn't it? Good. I can tell you spent more time on this page. Clean this up. Look how dirty this looks. With the just scribble, scrabble, crosshatch. It might be like, well, yeah, it does turn it gray, but it's not pleasing to look at. And you want the piece to actually look nice for the people who are going to study it. Perspective, big problem. I'd like to teach the world perspective. All right, let's see. Yeah, we got a fight scene now. I get it. I get this. I don't get what this is. I can't tell. That's a problem. I mean, even if you explained it to me, it doesn't matter. I can't tell what that is. So it doesn't work. Looks like we've got war coming up here. Yeah. All right. Looks like you're using some perspective here. 2-point perspective. All right. And it looks close to being correct. Yeah. Good job. Yeah, good job there. Man, that's a lot. That's a lot of lettering. Oh, look how manga you're being. You're being Dragon Ball Z here. Look at how nicely you did this kind of heavier line around his face, and then not here. Why not? Why does he get a nice line around his face and he doesn't? Is that it? No, there's more. Okay. Yeah, we got a fight scene here. All right, this isn't completed. I can see there's meant to be stuff here. And this is just kind of a sketchy, half-done page. And this is a big war. Yeah, I would be careful when you're inking this, because you've got these guys are in the foreground. These guys are kind of in the background, and yet they're all the same line weight. For objects, I'm going to go over this a million times with this particular portfolio, but objects in the foreground get a heavier line around them than objects that are receding into the distance. The line weights get thinner and thinner and thinner. It helps to push objects that are further away from us, and it helps to bring objects that are closer to us just with line weights. And then there are other ways to do that as well, but you can't have everything be the same line weight and then just expect the eye to be able to make sense of it. The eye cannot make sense of it. I can't make sense of this. I have to study it really hard, and I'm just trying to read the story. So just picture me as the comic book reader, and I'm just trying to have the story happen for me. I'm not trying to work real hard. You're the one who has to work real hard to make it real easy for me, the reader. All right. Okay, so very, very good. I think our main agenda here is going to be perspective. Our second agenda is inking, because I don't want to tell you not to ink. I do think that that's a lousy way to treat people. Anyone can ink. It's a skill. It's not a talent. You're not born with it. You can learn how to do it. It just has to be, you have to be instructed how. So let me blow this up. See differences here. Yeah, clean up your room, as Jordan Peterson, the good doctor, would say. Clean up your room. Let's make sure that these lines are not lazy. They have purpose. They're clean. They're sharp. And yeah, I think you could improve really, really, really quickly. All right, so thank you so much for the portfolio. If you at home would like me to review your portfolio, you can. Please send me 4 to 6 pages of sequential artwork. It can be in any condition. I'd like it to be more or less finished. That just means completed. Not like the last page of this portfolio that's only half done. So just, if you'd like to send pencils, you'd like to send inks, you'd like to send stuff with letters, it could be colored and ready to go. Send me 4 to 6 pages. My email address is Ethan, ETHAN12032 @gmail.com. And send that stuff over. Or you can just DM it to me on Twitter. My Twitter handle is @EthanVanSciver. Make sure that you're following me. Make sure that you're subscribed to this channel. I do want to thank my patrons who have donated a lot of money to this channel. I really do appreciate it. If you'd like to support content like this, why don't you consider pledging $1 a month, or maybe even more, so that I can continue making daily content like this. I do appreciate you. Also appreciate people who donate super chats during my live streams. If you subscribe and ring the bell, you will be alerted to the moment that I do a live stream, and you will be able to join the community and watch the show and talk back to me. Thank you so much, guys, and I will see you again tomorrow. Bye-bye. It's no secret at all that I couldn't do this channel if it wasn't for support from you, my subscriber base, and my Patreon donors. If you'd like to join this community by pledging $1 or more per month, go check out the link in the description below. And I thank you.